Welcome back, and today I'm going to start planning out a new app that a use case has presented itself to me, in which I'm going to work on an activity timer, primarily for children who are given a reward time playing on a computer or set to do homework for a set period of time and the likes. So yeah, the purpose of the app, let's grab that screen there. App purpose. So a simple countdown timer to grant children time for activities. Yes, rewards with suitable parental controls. So my idea with the app would be, not only could there be obviously set times, you might grant a child 45 minutes to play on a computer game, but a parent might be able to pause the app whilst the child might not. Or so we'll start with the simple features that we're trying to get in the app, and then expand from there and see where it starts becoming perhaps a bit more interesting. So timer that the child or parent can set that the child cannot pause or disable. So that would mean that we're going to need a either something like a fingerprint unlock or enabling to edit the timer, or I'm thinking a parental passcode that they could set at the start of a timer, because they might be using the child's smartphone. So parental lock at the start of the timer. Parental lock might be set at the start of the timer, so the child cannot pause or turn off alarm. And on top of that, it did occur to me, we might have some form of credit. So time credit might be assigned by the parent to the child's account that could be used to extend a session. So you could perhaps assign brownie points or the likes to the child's account, so they could play for a little bit longer if they wish. Now granted, that would mean sometimes you might only want the child to play games for an hour, and they can't go beyond that because you have to go to an event or something. So timer might optionally be begun as so an open-ended or as a strict end time, or one that allows the use of the child's time credits they have earned. I wonder if we can actually just make this all a bit bigger. Let's go. There we go. A little bit larger. Okay, so those are a few of the features, but then we might we can make the alarm clock a lot more useful if we can have it announce with speaking to let the child know the time's almost up. So optional 5 to 10 minute warning that the timer is almost up. This could be spoken with text to speech. And then at the end, of course, we'll need an alarm, or it may even just be using the text to speech. Just announcing to the child that the time's up. So, yeah, trying to think if I've got any other ideas of brief around this at this stage. I think that's a good starting point. I figured if I've laid out the ideas before we start writing this, we might not get ourselves into corners where we can't then add the features we want afterwards. Now, it's been a little while since I've been in the thick of it writing Flutter apps, so I thought I might look at some of the different resources I'll be using too. So widget wise, I think I want to use some material widgets, material components. So it occurred to me that for the timer I might use the progress indicator. So this is going to let me give a nice visual. So
if you like lines, the APIs are almost identical.
Don't need all that sound there. But yeah, I thought a circular indicator like this, probably in that form, sort of a determinate view, would be a nice indicator. And then I could use a stack and write the time remaining in the middle. I could have some pause and start buttons, and the pause button could come up with a dialog that requires the parental passcode. So it's going to have to be a whole settings area to the software to set a parental passcode to. But yeah, I thought so. Progress indicator. We can use that. And if we go back a little bit here, I remember thinking there were some useful bits in here we might use too. So I haven't really used the date and time pickers or the switches and stuff like that, but yeah, I think it will be digging into the date and time pickers to pick length of time. That's going to be a little bit of an experiment down the line. So time picker, we'll have a look at that widget. And switches, we'll probably be playing with some of these to toggle some of the features too. So those are some of the basic widgets I'll be looking at playing with, and I'll use a stack, of course, for the some layering text on top of the circular progress of the timer. Now, I imagine there'll be some timer widgets too. They might be background process. That's something we probably want to look at in case the phone gets the screen turned off. Now I did think the alarm I'd probably only have run for 2 to 5 minutes max if it's not disabled, to not be completely obnoxious. But that did occur to me. The alarm could potentially, this is just a crazy wish list of features the app could have, it could email the parent summary of the timer session on completion in some fashion. Perhaps if the parent wants to know how long the child's extended it out, or how that went, you could have some sort of follow-up like that if it's being used on the child's phone and they've been set to do homework for a period of time, or and it's been somehow marked as done. Or yeah, again, that could be another thing. There may be some considerations I haven't thought in here yet. If it's for a task to be done, so assigned task might require parental sign off at completion, not to disable the alarm, but to assign bonus time. So perhaps the timer can work in carrot and stick fashion. So time is being used to assign them extra time to play games one day, then the next day they've been given 45 minutes of homework. Set it to start. Once it hits the 45 minutes, it lets the child know that's up. The child takes their homework to the parent. Parent's happy with it. They can then punch their pin in and say, task completed satisfactorily in time. Assign 5 minutes of credit, or maybe 45 minutes of credit. Yeah, now another Flutter for app consideration we have just generally is the text-to-speech. Now that's not a built-in widget or module, but that is a package we can text-to-speech. Now, this one looks to be well regarded, with lots of likes and high popularity on pub.dev. So it looks like I'm going to have to do a little bit of digging into the full implementation of this, but yeah, we'll be able to make it basically create it looks like it creates a WAV file that we spit out to the phone if it's an Android device. Otherwise we create a CAF file, which is probably what we use on a Mac, and then we just pipe that file there into the output, I imagine. But yeah, that's going to be a bit of work down the line to get that part doing just what we want. I thought I'd make note of the text-to-speech library I thought we'd use. So yeah, that's my thoughts at this stage, working on the concept for a brand new app that I'll start working through, and hopefully over the coming days and weeks this shapes up to be an app with some functional use that's a little bit different, and can have some attractive elements to it, and yeah, might be nice tool as a parent, or even it might have something less of a child-only focus. Perhaps we have a generic mode and a parental mode, if the timer is just attractive enough as it is, with the spoken reminder when the time's nearing completion, perhaps even your average adult or student wants to use it themselves to set aside for a task. Or again, perhaps that it could be forked off into multiple versions. But yeah, I won't stop there for the moment, and yeah, tomorrow we'll resume. Probably start playing with some timer functions in the progress bar, perhaps just with some set periods, like just show me a 5-minute timer doing its thing, and then we'll work on the idea of adding credit time, the text-to-speech reminder at the end, parental controls, and so on. Should be a nice little project to work through. So yeah, we'll call it a day there, and catch you next time.